Welcome back to Asafoon. On today's episode, we're going to be showing you our plan for 12s for 2K. But first, before we get into any of this, let's head on over to our engine. Right here, we have our Barra race engine. What a mighty beast of a thing, isn't it? Now, if you thought that we were actually going to be using this Barra in the Datsun, then you would be wrong. Because right here is our actual race engine. This right here is a Mitsubishi 6G74. And if nobody knows what that is, that's actually a 3.5 litre V6. Now, we actually got given this engine for free. And that is because it was in a car that was going to be getting completely scrapped. It had no bonnet over the engine. It had no coil plugs in one of the cylinders. And yeah, it had 2 rusty bores. So once we pulled it all apart, which we've already done, which will be on a future video. So once we pulled it all apart, we discovered that other than the rusty bores, it was actually pretty good. So we gave the bores a bit of a quick hone and it turned out pretty good. Gapped the rings, put a full gasket set through it, and yeah, that's our race engine. So we actually got lucky with this engine because Mitsubishi actually used different size rods in different engines, even though they're the same engine code. So this is an early engine, and this actually has the bigger rods, which are quite comparable to a Barra set of rods, which is quite nice. As well as when we were disassembling the engine, we discovered that the engine's built pretty favorably for this challenge, which will be good. And so we've been playing around with a few different parts on the Mitsubishi engine. So this manifold is actually off a Pajero that we bought. We bought it cheap, a full complete car. So we're just mixing and matching parts from the Pajero and actually other cars with injectors and things like that, just to see what works best for packaging and flow rates and all of that. So yeah, basically the reason that we chose the 6G for the Datsun is because 1, it was free, and 2, because it just packages really well in a small engine bay. Now let's head on back over to the bench and check out everything that we're going to be throwing in this car. Now that we're back at the table, we can admire all of these turbos. Now the reason that we've got all these turbos here is because we don't actually know what turbo we're going to throw on the car yet. The original plan, and the plan we're probably going to end up going with, is the Big Mudder. So this is a Holset HE551V to be precise. It is pretty ginormous. It is pretty damn heavy, but it has huge potential. It is actually a VNT turbo, so it can actually spool up pretty damn early for the size that it is, which is what we want. All right, now I'm gonna get Timu Turbo Yoda to come over here and talk a little bit more about these turbos, because he is the Timu Turbo Yoda and he knows all.
Hi humanoids. So we have a range of turbos because I'm totally not a hoarder. We have everything. So this is a HX35, about 500 horsepower worth. This is a KKR 660. I assume it's about 600 worth of horsepower, maybe. This is a Holset HX40 Super, and the Big Daddy Holset HE551V, which is a VNT turbo, roughly 1100 horsepower worth. We picked these whole sets off Marketplace, $125 each we got them for. This KKR was $200, which I've had for years. We're thinking we might try the HE551 first. Obviously, it's probably not going to fit under the bonnet, so we're thinking of rear mounting it, which has its own issues. So to combat said issues, we picked up a eBay scavenge pump, this one here, which was a grand total of $93.98. Bargain if I do say so myself.
What's ever gone wrong with purchasing literally the cheapest thing that you can find off eBay?
Bronson has 3D printed this this flange for the whole set, which we may or may not use as a template for some scrap steel that we found lying around. Basically worth. What else we got, Bronson?
So then to deliver some fuel, we have got 2 Bosch 044 pumps.
Genuine.
Genuine as well. We looked up everything online to check if they were fake or genuine. And yeah, we striked out on that one. Struck out on that one, thank you very much. We got these for $50 each. So $100 for 2 Bosch 044s, brand spanking new, genuine. Absolute bargain.
Very nice.
So next we have got we've got wastegates. So
so if we use this turbo, the KKR or the whole set, no. If we use the KKR, we need a wastegate. It is an external gate turbo. So we have an eBay wastegate. Totally nothing could go wrong with that plan. How much did I pay for that? I can't remember now.
2/10 of stuff all, because eBay.
Yeah, it was worthless because it's eBay.
And then Cameron's got another wastegate which is hoarded for a century or
years.
two.
So, I've also got this Synops wastegate that I've had lying around for about 1,000,000 years. If I can get some seats and stuff for it, that's usable. That was about $100 or so from memory.
But if we decide not to go with these turbos and we decide to go with this big one, we're actually thinking we might not even need an external wastegate. And tell us why, Cameron. Why do we think that? Why in our quite uneducated opinions are we thinking that?
40 centimetre rear housing. It's ginormous.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
But being a VNT, it might spill up okay, but if it doesn't, we have a contingency plan. Stay tuned. So, as for fuel, oh yeah, we already talked about them. We have a surge tank, 0044 surge tank, picked up for $50 about, I don't know, a couple of years ago. Totally not 10 years ago plus.
Yeah, so, since it's been sitting around for 10 odd years and it's not really worth anything to us.
Basically worthless.
Yeah, it's basically worthless. So, we've also got
an air filter.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really matter because we won't be using it for the drag challenge.
Yeah. That's purely for any tuning purposes.
Tuning. Speaking of tuning, electrical wise, we have an ECU. This is called Russ EFI. It's a UA EFI do-it-yourself ECU based on basically Megasquirt Speeduino principles. It's actually quite powerful for the money. It was $385.
Somewhere around that.
Landed in Australia. Bronson has 3D printed this beautiful looking case for 85 cents.
ECU was $267.44.
Is that it?
Yep.
Cheap as. So this little ECU was $267.44 landed to our door, which is quite the bargain for how powerful it is. Assuming I can actually tune it, because we have got no budget for a tuner. I have some cheap shitty eBay relay and fuse box holder that can, because I've got to do all the wiring, so that'll be handy for that. And I have a Falcon 3-bar map sensor, which was $40. We'll adapt that to whichever manifold we decide to use. And, I don't know, 44 PSI, that should almost cover it.
Yeah, maybe.
We might max it out and
see how it
then
goes.
we'll have to get a 4-bar one.
Yeah. I guess it's not the end of the world if that happens.
I'm sure the little 6G will take 44 PSI.
Yep.
Alright, we've done that. We've got some random fittings that we're going to be using in the conversion. They're just bits of shit that's been lying around, so...
yeah, it wasn't really good enough for us to use on customer cars, so it's basically worthless.
Airflow wise, we have a water to air intercooler. This was $50, and we have since been told it won't flow enough for our application. So we're probably going to go E85 and maybe non-intercooled.
But we probably will flow test it just for shits and gigs, even if we don't use it. Also, that was $50 off Marketplace. So if we have the budget for it, we might use it. If we don't, then we'll just lose it. It's probably not a big deal.
We've also bought some 2200cc Bosch injectors. They are an old style CNG injector. They've been used. We got them for $200.
Absolute bargain. Once again, another Facebook Marketplace bargain. Yeah.
They're not currently with us at the moment. They're off getting flow tested and just checked to make sure they actually work. We've tested them in a manifold. They don't quite fit, but we're pretty sure they'll work.
Yeah.
Ish.
With the use of a 3D printer and a little bit of dodginess, we're confident that they might work.
Transmission-wise, Mitsubishi's actually came with A340s in a certain year period from the factory. We're planning on using one of those. We did have a lead on a two-wheel drive auto out of a Triton. However, that's now fallen through. So we're on the hunt. So if anyone knows of a A340 line about doing nothing, give us a holler. We need all the help we can get.
Yeah. We, like I said in the first video, we're pushing shit uphill to get this whole build done, and it just makes it even more difficult if we don't have the parts we need. Also, we picked up a nice bargain from a friend in Bendigo. Bear with me. So, we have a box full of blue silicon joiners. These straight 3-inch silicon joiners were $4 each. So, that's the cheapest I've ever seen a silicon joiner.
Shout out to Adrian Stratford, by the way.
Yes. Thank you very much, Adrian. You are helping us immensely. We picked up a couple of 45s and a couple of 90s in case we use them. Obviously, they are more expensive. I think they were $16 or $20 each, or I don't know, something like that. But yeah, we might not be using them because we might run out of budget. So that might mean I have to do a lot of aluminium pie cuts. Yay. Now, how are we going to get all this power to the ground?
Catch.
That's how we're doing it. Ugh. So right here, we have a PSR drag radial. It is in the size of 275 50 15. So yeah, it's a nice wide tire, nice and soft, nice and sticky, hopefully going to get all the power to the ground, and hopefully it's going to take us into the 12s. Now, with all this power and all this grip, the Dado diff just isn't going to cut it. So what we're going to be doing is using a Falcon diff, which Cameron is so kind to donate. Now, Cameron may have donated the diff to us, but we obviously have to put a price on it. So we did some Facebook Marketplace searching, and we found one for $100. Picked her up here. So the diff that we're putting in is the Falcon diff worth $100. Also, we have this little unit, which is all rusty and looks very unloved from many years of mistreatment.
It does work though.
Apparently it works, according to some. Now, that is pretty much worth nothing because it's just some old piece of crap. But hopefully we might end up using this on the car to get a bit more speed out of it. If you know, you know. So these are the big ticket items that are hopefully going to allow us to run 12s in our 2K Dado. Now, let us know in the comments if you think we are completely nuts. We probably won't disagree with you. Also, let us know in the comments if you would actually pay even $1 for a rusty, seized Magna engine. Hopefully you've all enjoyed checking out the big ticket items that are going to go in our 12 to 2K Dado. If you have, be sure to hit that thumbs up and consider subscribing, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Who's that? Hi, meat sacks. No, I think I'd rather be behind the camera. Fuck that shit. Cut that bit out, future Bronson. So this is a synapse. Synapse? Synapse. A schnapps.
Snaps.
A synapse.
Schweppes. Now, these are all the parts that are going to decimate the competition.
Hello, goodbye.
Hello, goodbye.